everyone, thank you for tuning in. This is your instructor Joy. So today we are going to talk about how to make nice sound. This is mainly for those who already have been playing violin for a little while. So I would say maybe a little more slowly moving from beginner violinist level away and entering the intermediate level player, and also others as well. So I'm going to talk about a couple of points. First, understanding how the bow works and learning how to adjust your right arm and every single joint. Number two, also understand the sounding point, which is a crucial part of producing beautiful sound. And number three, a trick point for keeping the parallel to the bridge. All right, those three things. First, let's understand the bow. The bow has a nice, beautiful long stick. There's a lot of parts going on near the frog and very thin little part, which means the bow is unevenly weighted. So this part is much heavy, whereas this part is very light, which means for us, if we do nothing, bow, it's very heavy here and very light. Therefore, it's gonna make not so beautiful sound. So our job is to use every joint of your right arm to keep the bow weight even, from whether it's tip, middle, or the frog. So now, which means we have to make bow heavier near tip and lighter near the frog. How do we do that? So now, let's first divide the bow into 4 parts. If you want, you can also just tape it every quarter part. So I measure half, quarter, and quarter. If you like that, you can put little 3 tapes. It's up to you. It doesn't have to be precise, but just a guideline. So I think it's easier when you start with the up bow. So place the bow at the tip, and then doesn't matter which open string. Let's say A string. Then go use your up bow only up halfway through. Now once you're halfway through, now because the bow is slowly getting closer to the heavier part of the bow, which is frog, we need to start doing something to make the bow lighter. So we're gonna start first raising our elbow a bit, and then use maybe another quarter part of bow. When you reach really close to frog, I would say about a quarter part of the frog, then this raising elbow is not enough, but you need to start raising your wrist to make the bow even lighter. Yeah. What we're doing is by raising our elbow, we're taking weight off the bow, and then by raising the wrist, we're taking weight even more off, almost like taking the weight, like scooping off kind of movement. Yeah, like that. Now, up bow. Halfway through, raise your elbow, quarter part, and then now start raising your wrist. Yeah, again. Now halfway through and halfway, start raising your elbow. And then when your last quarter part from the frog, then start raising your wrist. Yeah, so that way you're making the bow light. Now when you go down, you should start near the frog, raising elbow and the wrist still very high. Of course, we don't raise this much. Normally we do just this much, but I'm exaggerating a bit so that you see that. And once you understand the movement, it will make it a little, movement will become more finer. So, but exaggerate a bit so that to remind yourself and so that your body slowly build the system as well. So when you're near the frog, try to use really from the beginning of the bow here to take advantage of your bow. So wrist a little higher, and then elbow as well. And then when you pass the quarter part of the bow, then wrist start going down. When you're halfway through, then elbow start going down. And this is how we keep the bow same weight and well balanced. Therefore, you're gonna produce beautiful sound. Again, starting with the up bow, halfway through, elbow up, quarter from the frog, wrist up. And also even when you go down, that goes same way. Now halfway, elbow up, quarter, wrist up. Now come down, quarter part wrist, quarter part from the front, and wrist comes down. Halfway now, elbow comes down. Yeah. By lowering your elbow, you're applying the arm, the weight of your arm into the bow to make the tip part a bit heavier. Yeah. You might have seen sometimes we even put a little more weight like that, but that comes later. Yeah. Again, so up bow, halfway through, elbow up, quarter part, wrist up to make it lighter, and vice versa, wrist down, elbow down, like that. Okay, that should already improve your sound quality significantly. Then let's talk about sounding point. Sounding point is the one that sounds the best on each string. Even though for very beginner violinists, a lot of instructors say keep the bow between bridge and the fingerboard somewhere here. That's just to make it a little easier for the new violinist. But once you've been playing violin already a little while, then try to find the sounding point of each string, which is different. Sounding point on G string is closer to the fingerboard. Sounding point on D string is a little away. So sounding point on G and D, A, and E. As you can see, it changes. So if you keep bow always in the same spot, this is just not gonna do that. So see if you can find the best sounding point. Each violin varies a bit, so you have to try yourself. That sounding point on G string. Now sounding point on D string, A, then E. Not only that, also, excuse me, each string can take a different kind of weight of your bow. The thicker string, in this case G or D, can take quite heavy bow just fine. Whereas on E string and A string, especially E string when you get higher, if you press the same weight as you would do on G, it's just too much. So you have to know what the limit of the bow weight would be. Yeah, that's something that you have to understand. In general, thicker string, lower string can take more weight, whereas the higher string less. Then also I find it using stopping point can be quite helpful. You know, if you're wondering how to keep the bow parallel to the bridge, there's another video, little trick how to keep the bow parallel. I encourage you to check that one out. So basically what it is, some people say practice in front of a mirror, or some people say the physical, like a little physical guidance that you can install, or using just objects in your room or anything, which all fine. But it's also a good idea to use your own senses without relying on other objects or other parts, so that you can always do it. The way you do it is just observe. Let's say even when you're playing on the A string, try to see if you can see a little rectangle. The distance from the bridge to the bow, even though you're on A string, and the bridge to the next string should be equally long. So you should be able to see a little rectangle. Whether you're on A, D, or G, doesn't matter. You just have to compare two strings with your bow. See if you see the same distance from the bow to bow hair to the bridge. Yeah, and that's even when our head is in a weird angle, it's hard to see, but you can tell the same distance from the bridge over two strings, like this. Yeah, and then because the bow is constantly changing, you would do the same same kind of keeping the bow, but by stopping it. We're just allowing ourselves to do a little checkpoint. So again, you can divide the bow into 4 parts every quarter if you like, and then place the bow where it sounds the best, and then using your wrist and elbow movement. I'm gonna lower that one. So then you do stop and see the distance between E string from bridge to the bow and A string from the bridge to the bow is same, and then keep going. Stop and check again whether the distance from the bridge to the bow over A and E strings are same. And again, stop, and keep going. Like that. And you would do the same thing on each string. Let's say A string. See, when you're placing the bow, see, you could use either E or D string. So check it whether the distance from the bridge to the hair, the bow hair, is same on A and E string. So you should be able to see a little rectangle. Stop and check it again. Stop and check it again. Is the distance from the bow hair to the bridge same? Yes, yes. If not, then adjust. See what you did wrong. Keep going. And it may feel like it's quite slow, but by simply stopping it, what we're doing is we're training our muscle to control and then prepare our right movement to do, or right placement of your bow, of the sounding point. Yeah. So this was very successful in my studio when it came to improving sound quality. I hope this would be helpful for you as well. Thank you for watching, and please remember to subscribe and share my videos. And please keep sending me a question. Hope to see you again. Bye-bye.